guessing if you're here that you want to start taking better looking photos. Maybe you want them to look a little more like all the photos you see all over social media, or maybe you genuinely want to start learning more about the aspects of photography. Regardless, I am so happy that you're here. Hey, hi, hello, I'm Shannon, your creative mentor. Welcome back to my channel. I feel like I see so many videos on YouTube that are about photography, but they're geared more towards people who are professional photographers or people aspiring to be professional photographers. But what about everybody else? I don't feel like wanting to learn more about photography or just wanting to take a better looking photo has to be for people who are trying to be professional photographers or influencers or content creators. So these tips are for anybody who wants to take cooler, cuter, better looking photos. To be honest, the quality of some of the newer phones these days really rival the quality of a traditional camera. Today, we are going to dive into 5 ways to set yourself up to start taking the best looking photos you can from your iPhone. Let's get into it. And make sure you stay to the end of the list because that last tip is arguably the most important one. So, first step, grid lines. Grid lines are in essence just guides that are added to your screen that can help you frame out your pictures. If you've ever heard of the rule of thirds, grid lines will help you compose your picture using that rule. To turn on your grid lines, go into your phone's settings, scroll all the way down to camera, and then under composition, toggle on grid. And don't worry, if you use grid lines, you won't actually see the lines on your photo after you take the picture. So once you've turned on your grid, you're ready for tip number 2, where to place your subject in a photo. This is, again, basically how to frame your photo. Generally, when it comes to people, you want to keep the top section of the photo, where the top grid is, clear. Try not to put the subject's head or their face over that line. And then if you're taking a full body picture, still keep that top section clear, but then keep in mind where you're going to place your feet. Don't cut off your feet, but there should be a little bit of space just above the bottom of the picture. If your subject head is in that top section, they could end up looking shorter, or it just kind of could give the photo a weird looking perspective. Before we dive into the next tip, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about learning how to start taking better photos. So if you genuinely just want to learn more about photography, or you want to support me in my brand new channel, make sure that you're subscribed. Moving on to tip number 3. Use live mode, not portrait mode. This could be a little bit of a controversial take, but apparently portrait mode is outdated. I was honestly a little bit confused when I first started hearing people say this because I thought that portrait mode, the quality of it was the most comparable to a photo taken on a high-end camera. But I can kind of see how portrait photos looked a little bit more staged now and are less authentic. The other reason to stick to live mode is that you can adjust the keyframe. This is especially great if you're blinking or mid-sentence in a photo. You can also create videos from it, which is awesome so that you're able to get photos and video content at the exact same time. Honestly, I probably could make a whole video of the ins and outs of live mode, so leave a comment if you would be interested in that. Let's dive into tip number 4. Use burst mode. Using burst mode helps you capture a lot of photos within a short period of time. This ensures that you never miss a moment. It can also help you get a variety of shots, especially if the subject is in motion. If you take outfit photos, this is the way to go so that you can move around, pose a bit, and then you are capturing every single one of those small movements. Lastly, burst mode is great so it doesn't clutter up your photo album. I don't know if you've ever taken multiple shots at the same time and place, and then you look in your photo album and you can scroll with how many photos you have that look in essence the same. So look at the difference when you use burst mode. If you got through this whole list and you missed this last tip, you're setting yourself up for failure. Okay, just kidding. You're not really going to fail, but you're really not putting your best foot forward when it comes to photography. Tip number 5, make sure that you wipe and clean your lens off. If you wear glasses, think about how many times you're having to clean your lenses because they can get coated in dirt, makeup, sprayed with water. The list can kind of go on. And then when you don't clean them off, it's harder to see through them, making your view kind of unclear. This is basically the same for your camera's lens. When you're grabbing your phone, you don't kind of look where you're grabbing it, and you probably touch your lens a bunch, basically getting fingerprints all over your lens, makeup all over your lenses. dirt, anything. Again, the list can go on and on. It could get really dirty, right? If you've ever taken a photo or a video and you wonder why it looks a little bit cloudy, this is definitely why. Make sure you clean off your lens, and that way you get the most crisp, clear looking photos. We did it. Those are 5 things to do to set yourself up to take the best looking photos on your iPhone. There is, of course, so much more to cover in terms of creating better photos, so make sure you subscribe and tune in. We're just getting started.